Hi viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today for my discussion I have taken NissimEzekiel, great Indian poet, 1924 to 2004. Okay, about the poet, a few details are here. NissimEzekiel was the Indian Jewish poet, actor, playwright, art critic and an editor. Further, he is considered as the father of post-independence and modern poetry of India. Okay, he is a well-known poet also. Some of the major themes in his literary works, almost every time whenever we read NissimEzekiel's poems, we will find Indian contemporary scene, modern urban life, human relationships. So, which I feel very practical even today. So that is the reason I have taken NissimEzekiel for today's discussion. Some of the awards he got: Padma Shri in 1988, Sahitya Academy Award in 1983. Let us see what NissimEzekiel has to say in his poem today. I have taken NissimEzekiel's one of the most famous, well-known poem, a classic in the making, Night of the Scorpion. There is a picture of the scorpion. Night of the Scorpion is the poem which I am going to discuss today. Here we have the poem, Night of the Scorpion. First stanza. I remember the night my mother was stung by a scorpion. 10 hours of steady rain had driven him to crawl beneath a sack of rice. So what is the idea here? I remember the night my mother was stung by a scorpion. Very clearly the narrator, the poet is telling us, I remember. He is recollecting. He is able to remember one important part of his life, important incident. Night my mother was stung by a scorpion. My mother, possessive. So the poet is, it is almost like autobiographical. He is remembering, recalling one incident, one night, the day when she was stung by a scorpion. Okay, 10 hours of steady rain had driven him. Now then further after that, how the scorpion has entered? 10 hours of steady rain. So the rain has forced the scorpion to enter the house. 10 hours of steady rain, 10 hours, driven him, forced him almost to crawl beneath a sack of rice. And where he is hiding, and it's all happened, it is a coincidence. My mother stung by a scorpion. That is the part. Moving further, parting with his poison flash of diabolic tail in the dark room, he risked the rain again. So after that particular incident, what happened? Parting with his poison flash of diabolic tail, diabolic like a devil, something negative. What is that? Parting with his poison flash. So the poison flash, this sting, it has already stung. Further, the poet continues, parting with his poison flash of diabolic tail in the dark room, he risked the rain again. Now here the poet is concentrating on the scorpion. Later what happened? The story. Parting with his poison flash of diabolic tail, diabolic, devilish, something negative, in the dark room after biting his mother. What the scorpion has done? Parting with his after biting and giving that poison shock, diabolic tail in the dark room, where under the beneath a sack of rice he is hiding. He risked the rain again. So 10 hours almost steady rain forced the scorpion to enter the house. Now, due to this unexpected turn of events, he risked the rain again. He risked. So he thought it's better to go out into the rain once again. He risked the rain again. That is the explanation. Moving further, after the incident, the peasants came like swarms of flies and buzzed the name of God 100 times to paralyze the evil one. So immediately later what happened? Like wildfire, the event got spread, and immediately the peasants, the landlords, came like swarms of flies in large number and started to chant, enchanting the name of God 100 times. So they thought that it is only the divine, Almighty, who can come to their rescue. Chanted the name of God 100 times to paralyze the evil one. It is almost like the narrator detaching himself. He is explaining the incident here. To paralyze the evil one, the scorpion, and it is poison and all that, paralyze. Let's see further. It is the with candles and with lanterns, throwing giant scorpion shadows on the mud-baked walls. They not only they swam like flies, along with candles and lanterns they come. Okay, candles and with lanterns, the fire. It's a rural village setup. You have to analyze. Throwing a giant scorpion shadows on the mud-baked walls. They started to search, move here and there. Where is the scorpion is all about? They searched for him. So that is what continuously they not only chanted the name of God 100 times, paralyzing the evil one in their slokas or prayer. Further, they wanted to search where is the devil, where is the negative character. He was not found, but the scorpion, as we know, it is not inside the house. It has already gone out, risking itself in the rain. They clicked their tongues, so they started to feel sorry, where is the scorpion and all that. With every moment, so there is a very interesting thought here. With every moment that the scorpion made, his poison moved in mother's blood, they said. Hereafter, the poet or the narrator starts to explain what are the events that took place further. The chain of events continues. Once again, I'll repeat. With every moment that the scorpion made. So scorpion in that late night, every moment it has increased. The poison, his poison moved in mother's blood, they said. So there's a very interesting thought. So it is the superstitious belief, blind belief, the poet NissimEzekiel is trying to highlight. So we need to avoid its movement. The less it moved, the less the spread of the poison. Now the poet starts to explain further what the peasants have done. Okay, the now line of focus is entirely not on the mother who is suffering with the pain and agony, and not on the scorpion also. The concentration entirely, line of thinking is focused on the peasants, what they have done. May he sit still, they said. So everything is very important now. So he is documenting. May he sit still. So the scorpion's movement, they have started to pray. They started to feel that let him not move around, because its movement will spread the poison in the blood of the mother deceased. May the sins of here there is a very interesting thought. This we need to analyze as a student of literature. May the sins of your previous birth be burned away tonight, they said. Now it is something beyond. The interesting part is the peasants have started to analyze something in a different way. Earlier they chanted the name of God 100 times. Now it is entirely different. So this tells us the superstitious beliefs, blind beliefs, Indians, rural setup, what they are having. This is what NissimEzekiel as a poet is documenting. That is what is the most interesting part of the poem. Sins of your previous birth. We always believe to become a human life, it is once again the domain of Almighty. It is His blessing to become a human being. That's what. So, the sins of your previous birth be burned away tonight, they said. So, they started to analyze the past life, okay? Whether you have done any sins, so about the deceased. So, they started to discuss about that. Sins of your previous birth be burned away tonight with the pain, with the agony, they said. Further, may your suffering decrease the misfortunes of your next birth, they said. So, previous birth and the next birth, the concentration is. So, a superstitious belief, and what the typical Indian setup we are understanding here. May your suffering decrease the misfortunes of your next birth, they said. Misfortunes, okay? What are the hardships you may have to face in the next birth? Let it decrease, because already you are undergoing a lot of pain now. This is due to maybe your previous birth. Because of the sins of your previous birth, you may be undergoing a pain. Let it be burned tonight. Further, suffering, maybe your suffering decrease the misfortunes of your next birth, as already you are undergoing a lot of severe pain, agony, suffering now, this particular present birth. Let this decrease your next misfortunes of your next birth. So the previous birth, next birth, in a detached manner, the narrator is trying to focus on the superstitious beliefs, blind beliefs, a typical Indian mindset is having. Further, may the sum of all evil balanced in this unreal world against the sum of good become diminished by your pain. Now further, it is almost like compiling all these thoughts, the peasants, people who gathered there with their candles, lanterns and all. What they are discussing, may the sum of all evil balanced in this unreal world. So some sort of the concept of what the present world, which is unreal, with superstitious beliefs and all that. What is that? Sum of all evil, all the negative. So here evil is nothing but the poison, the scorpion as a symbol of evil, the poison that is being highlighted, and also the pain and agony of suffering, the mother, that part. Again, the sum of good become diminished by your pain. So whatever you had done in this present life, all the good, so let it be decreased, diminished. It will be balanced. That is what. So I'll repeat. May the sum of all evil balanced in this unreal world. Again, the sum of good become diminished by your pain. So balance. Let it be balanced. Some sort of worshipping, some sort of offering their prayers to the Almighty. Some sort of the unknown to the dark world. So they are requesting, they are showing their some sort of faith in that. So may the sum of all evil balance and diminished by your pain, whatever you are undergoing. Like earlier, the concept of reincarnation has been once again continued here further. The thought of reincarnation and the previous birth and the next birth and all that, based on our sins. Purification process is happening. So that thought has been continued here. May the poison purify your flesh of desire and your spirit of ambition, they said. So what is the thought here? May the poison, okay, depending on your sins of the previous birth as well as the misfortune of the next birth, reincarnation concept. Maybe it is God's will that this scorpion has entered and it is into purification process. It is purifying your blood. So that thought we can analyze here. Poison purify your flesh. So poison, it is the God's will that scorpion has entered and it has spread its poison now to purify your flesh and your thoughts. That is what is being that. Flesh of desire. If you have any negative thoughts, inhibitions, it may be present life, or it may be the past, or it is going to be the misfortune. So some sort of reincarnation process as well as purification process is being highlighted. So the scorpion has entered as a symbol of purification. That part is being highlighted, and your spirit of ambition. It is also quite possible that in the present, in this particular present life, your ambition, if you are having any negative thoughts and all, scorpion is doing the purification process. That concept is highlighted, they said. And they sat around, after saying all that, they sat around on the floor with my mother in the center. See, mother deceased in the center, epic center, and all of them have sat together. The peace of understanding on each face. So all the people who gathered there, they have some sort of peace. They thought that maybe it is God's will, scorpion has entered and it is like a spirit. It is purifying the flesh of the deceased. That part is being highlighted. Reincarnation as well as process of purification we need to analyze as a student of literature here. Further, more candles, more lanterns, more neighbors. So you know that the negative, always will spread fast, and more people have gathered now. The number of people. So as the people have come, candles and lanterns also increased. More people have come, and more insects and the endless rain. So rain, earlier also 10 hours rain has forced the scorpion to enter. Now further rain also continued. It is also, the poet is highlighting India. The monsoon or the typical Indian setting we can understand as a reader. My mother twisted. First time, the reaction of the mother now. My mother twisted through and through, groaning on a mat. So when all these things are all happening, my mother, what is her reaction? My mother twisted through and through, groaning on a mat. So the mother and her feelings, this is also, maybe it is also quite possible that the mother is undergoing the spirit, that purification process is also being highlighted here. So the poet wants us to understand the concept of reincarnation as well as the purification which is happening here and which has been analyzed by all those peasants during their time of stay here. Finally, we have reached the end of the poem where it is entirely different line of thinking here. So the poet has come to the extreme end. That part we need to analyze now. My father. So as a reader, we may be having so many questions. When mother is suffering, undergoing pain, and the child or the narrator is explaining what happened to the father, where is he? Now the another character is being introduced. My father, skeptic, rationalist, trying every curse and blessing. Now it's a very interesting thought. Skeptic, he who will question, who will not easily be convinced. Rationalist, man of thinking, analyzing, reasoning. Okay, trying every curse and blessing. He seems to be a little detached here because he can't do anything now. Okay, other than praying, other than with those peasants, whatever they are telling, the sins, the process of reincarnation and the purification process, worshipping God and all that. Okay, trying every curse and blessing. All those people who have gathered their large number, whatever they are telling, they are cursing and the present life or the past or the future. He is going with the flow, blessing. Okay, he don't know. In fact, he also seems to be, though mother is undergoing physical pain, father is having a psychological pain altogether. Very interesting, the poet, narrator, in a detached way, he is explaining about the real situation, what he has seen, what it has happened literally in front of him. That is the interesting part. My father, skeptic, rationalist, trying every curse and blessing. Trying, he is not sitting silently, he is also analyzing. Powder, mixture, herb and hybrid, all that. He is trying all the powder, whatever people have given, all the mixture, herb, all the medicinal, everything is trying. So he wants he wants his wife, the mother, to recover. He even poured a little paraffin, kerosene, the part, and he further, what is that, upon the bitten toe, the leg, that toe, and put a match on it. He even has tried to burn the part where the sting, the scorpion has stung, that poison he wants to recover. So he even poured a little paraffin upon the bitten toe and put a match to it. Okay, so he is a man of action, being skeptic and rationalist. He will not simply sit and pray, worship. He wants to do something. He wants to relieve her pain. That is a very interesting part. I watched the flame feeding on my mother. Very interesting. Now, once again, the narrator, the child who is witnessing all these turn of events, situations, unexpected, in a shock, shell shocked. I watched the flames. Other than watching, the child cannot do anything. So it is also undergoing a sense of different level of pain altogether. I watched the flame feeding on my mother. Feeding, it is burning. The child is not understanding what is really happening and all. So the flame, it is feeding on my mother. Okay, further. I watched the holy man perform his rites to tame the poison with an incantation. So the father is already lighting a match and he is trying to burn that wound. At same time, simultaneously, all those peasants, I want the holy man perform his rites, chanting slokas, prayer, to tame the poison with incantation. Tame, control the poison with an incantation. Some sort of holy sermon, prayer. Okay, and many of them who gathered there, they are praying to God, thinking that let the scorpion not move. The more the movement, more the blood, the poison will spread. So like that, so many activities, so many situations are happening. As a reader, we have to analyze, we have to visualize, really. After 20 hours, 10 hours, non-stop rain. Now, 20 hours, after 20 hours, it lost the sting. Very interesting. There is a full stop. Now, another part is that. So, very carefully, as a narrator, as a reader, narrators, punctuation marks, everything, NissimEzekiels, we need to analyze. I'll read out. What the holy man perform his rites to tame the poison with an incantation, holy prayer. Further, after 20 hours, it lost its sting. The poison, whatever scorpion it has bit, it lost its sting, the effect. Then, there is a dramatic change. There is a total change. The deceased, there is a recovery. My mother only said, thank God the scorpion picked on me and spared my children. My mother, who was lost consciousness, who was unconscious till then, she recovered and she got up. And a very interesting one statement, what she told, entirely changes the total paradigm shift of reader's concept on a mother. My mother only said, very interesting line, thank God, scorpion picked on me, spared my children. Very beautifully. Now, as a reader, we will analyze how a mother will feel Always mother and father will always look after the child, and the concept of now mother is she has forgotten all the pain, she has forgotten all the agony so far whatever happened. 20 hours she was suffering, twisted through and continuous through. But now finally she said, thank God scorpion picked on me, not on my children. So she is very happy that she is ready to sacrifice her life for the sake of the children. This is the typical Indian setting and the structure and all the environment we can analyze from NissimEzekiel's point of view. So to sum up, Night of the Scorpion by NissimEzekiel helps us to analyze a problem, an unexpected event in different line of thinkings. First and foremost, from a detached way of the child, looking at its mother suffering in pain, almost unconscious state, and he can't do anything. I watched and I heard, they said, and all that. That is one part. Next, moving further, we have the peasants and all the neighbours gathering, coming in large number, and they are also in panic. They come with candles, lanterns, and some of them started to chant shlokas, and some of them started to move around searching the scorpion where it is, and some people started to worship God and chanting some shlokas, telling that, thinking that their worship, their prayer will stop the movement of the scorpion, because the more the scorpion moved, the more the poison will spread in the blood of the deceased mother. So, and further a few of the peasants started to discuss about the reincarnation, the past life, the sins of the past, misfortunes of the next life and the present life. If the deceased is having any type of desire, unwanted perceptions, that sins might have been the cause, and God, divine power, might have sent a scorpion as a means of purification here. That is one line of thinking. Further, we find the father, who seems to be skeptic as well as rationalist. He also is in a kind of pain on his own. Mother is suffering the real pain, physical pain. What about the father? He never wants to allow his wife to be killed, and he started to do, using all the herb, the curse, blessing, everything he is analyzing from his end, and even tried to burn the spot where the sting of the scorpion's poison was there. He wanted to burn. He is not leaving any stone unturned. He is trying from his end. Okay. When these are all happening, what about the child? Child seems to be in a fix. He seems to be in a total different world, and he starts to analyze entirely. The poem gives us the typical Indian setup, rural setup with superstitions, blind beliefs, accepting life as it comes. In spite of the hardships and all, they seems to be very happy. They are not blaming anybody, cursing anybody. So that is the life part I is trying to tell. Some sort of, the rural versus the urban setup, the modern world and all. How things are in a typical Indian setup. That, plus in a detached way, how we have to look at it, Night of the Scorpion. So in different line of thinkings, as a reader, as a student of literature, we can analyze. Finally, we have, in addition to all these thoughts, we find the mother. After 20 hours, when the poison has lost its main impact, mother recovering, she stood up or she sat, and completely, if not completely, at least a part of recovering, she said only one thing: thank God scorpion picked on me, not on my children. This is entirely a different, a true mother, how mother's love is as such. So mother is going to any extent, sacrificing even her own life for the sake of the children. So this is another, typical Indian, for that matter, not only Indian, a parent, as a parent, how the parents look after the child, and they will think, analyze. They are always expecting God to give them all the pain, suffering, not their children. Okay, so they are ready to take the pain and suffering of the child on their behalf, on their shoulders, so that their child can live happily. So like that, there are different line of thinkings and that, and it is a really interesting poem, because the contemporary, the theme is very practical. Even today, the love and affection of a parent towards the child, and the superstitious belief. We living in India, it is filled with superstitions, blind beliefs, no matter what, and we accept it. The concept of re-incarnation, the concept of rebirth, the concept of soul, and the sins. All these are all part and parcel of our typical Indian living, and we need to move forward with only positive thoughts. So Night of the Scorpion has given us a chance to analyze all these aspects, and that is the reason NissimEzekiel is considered one of the best Indian writer in English. Hopefully my presentation of NissimEzekiel, one of the greatest Indian writer in English, and his Night of the Scorpion, the main theme and the thoughts of NissimEzekiel as an original Indian writer, helped you in understanding the concepts of NissimEzekiel, Night of the Scorpion, and hopefully it will help us to make our life really meaningful. Consider it liking and subscribing. Thank you.